Even if a player isn't picked first, going second is still pretty good in the draft. But of course, not all draft picks are created equal. And over the years, we've certainly seen a variance of success.
Touchdown! First NFL touchdown for Zach Wilson!
They say, if you ain't first, you're last. That doesn't apply in every case, however. One just has to look at some of the very best second overall picks in NFL history. Many of these guys went on to have much better careers than the guy that was taken before them. Others, however, were equally disappointing or simply nowhere close to being as great as those taken before them, after them, or anywhere around them. With all that said, let's rank all 32 second overall picks from 2000 to the 2022 NFL Draft. Number 23, Jason Smith, 2009. The St. Louis Rams took Baylor offensive lineman Jason Smith right after the Detroit Lions took Matthew Stafford with the top selection. Smith missed half of his rookie year due to a concussion. He played 15 games in 2010, but another serious concussion forced him to miss all but 6 games in 2011. The Rams traded Smith to the New York Jets in the 2012 offseason, where he'd spend one season before eventually finding himself out of the league. Number 22, Charles Rogers, 2003. Maybe if Rodgers wasn't stuck on a lousy Lions team, he could have grown into a real star. But the Michigan State product just never got the chance. Injuries and suspensions limited Rodgers to just 15 total NFL games over 3 seasons before the Lions released him in 2006. He finished with 36 receptions for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sadly, Rodgers died of liver failure at the age of 38 in 2019. Number 21, Greg Robinson, 2014. The Rams obtained the number 2 pick of the 2014 draft from Washington in a blockbuster Robert Griffin III trade. St. Louis used the number 2 pick on Auburn offensive tackle Greg Robinson right after Jadeveon Clowney went first overall to the Houston Texans. Robinson spent 3 seasons with the Rams, but never became what you would call a serviceable starter. Number 20, Luke Joeckel, 2013. The Jacksonville Jaguars used the 2nd overall pick on Texas A&M offensive lineman Luke Joeckel. A combination of injuries limited Joeckel to 39 games over his 4 years with the Jaguars. When on the field, he was a huge liability in pass protection, as Pro Football Focus hit him with 8 sacks allowed for the 2014 campaign. The Seattle Seahawks signed Joeckel in 2017, hoping to revive his career, but even the savvy Seahawks coaching staff couldn't get it going, and Joeckel was out of the league after the 2017 season. Number 19, Robert Gallery, 2004. The first 8 picks of the 2004 NFL Draft in order were Eli Manning, Robert Gallery, Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, Sean Taylor, Kellen Winslow II, Lions receiver Roy Williams, and D'Angelo Williams. 7 of those 8 guys made the Pro Bowl. You can probably guess which one didn't. Yes, it was Gallery, one of the many all-time draft mistakes committed by the Oakland Raiders in the 21st century. Gallery did spend 7 years with the Raiders from 2004 to 2010, but he was barely even an average player throughout his career. Number 18, Mitch Trubisky, 2017. The Chicago Bears traded up to get Trubisky 2nd overall right after the Cleveland Browns took Myles Garrett. They infamously passed on Patrick Mahomes, and the franchise has lived to regret it ever since. Sure, Trubisky went 29-21 in 4 years as Chicago starter, including an NFC North Division crown in 2018 and a wildcard spot in 2020, but Trubisky was carried by a stout rushing game and a lights-out defense. The North Carolina product had some moments in the Windy City, but he never came close to reaching expectations as a number 2 pick. He's only this high because of that winning record and the 2 playoff berths. Number 17, Ronnie Brown, 2005. Brown is best remembered for the Wildcat game, in which he put up 5 touchdowns for the Miami Dolphins in a Week 3 2008 blowout win over the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. Brown had his moments for the Dolphins, but at the end of the day, they needed a lot more out of a 2nd overall pick. Brown was a Pro Bowler in 2008 and surpassed 900 rushing yards 3 times, though he only hit the 1,000-yard mark once in 2006. He wasn't a total draft bust, but Miami would have definitely taken someone else, like, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers, in a do-over. Number 16, Zach Wilson, 2021. It's still a little too early to project how Wilson's career will pan out. We're not overly concerned about a rough rookie campaign. I mean, Peyton Manning and John Elway also had forgettable rookie seasons. The Jets have surrounded Wilson with a good set of weapons headlined by Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and Breece Hall. Don't be surprised if he plays himself into the top 5 or 10 on this list some years down the road. Number 15, Reggie Bush, 2006. Many consider Bush a draft bust, but the New Orleans Saints really could have done way worse. He did his part in helping the franchise win its first ever Super Bowl in the 2009 season for starters, and though he was never elite in New Orleans, Bush had 1,000-yard seasons for Miami and Detroit in 2011 and 2013 respectively. He didn't morph into the superstar many of us had envisioned, but he's nowhere close to Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell's level of draft bust. Number 14. Robert Griffin III, 2012. Okay, RG3 is only this high because of his incredible rookie season. And what a season it was. Washington gave up a king's ransom to move up so they could take the 2011 Heisman Trophy winner second overall in 2012. Right after the Indianapolis Colts took generational talent Andrew Luck. In his rookie year, Griffin led Washington to an unexpected NFC East Division title. He tossed 20 touchdowns against only 5 interceptions and racked up 815 rushing yards to go along with 7 rushing scores en route to offensive Rookie of the Year honors. Now, unfortunately, 2012 was Griffin's lone great season. Washington completely mishandled his knee injury that year. The injuries continued to pile up from there, and RG3 only played 22 total games for the franchise over the 2013 and 2014 seasons. Kirk Cousins eventually took the starting job from Griffin, who was released by Washington in 2016. He played 1 year in Cleveland and spent the 2018, 2019, and 2020 seasons as Lamar Jackson's backup in Baltimore. Number 13. Aidan Hutchinson, 2022. It didn't take long for Hutchinson to make an impact with the Lions as a rookie. Many were surprised that Trayvon Walker went ahead of him in the 2022 draft, but Detroit fans certainly aren't complaining. He, like Zach Wilson, will have plenty of time to move up this list. Number 12. Chase Young, 2020. Young won 2020 Defensive Rookie of the Year honors after tallying 7.5 sacks, 4 pass defenses, and 4 forced fumbles to help Washington win the NFC East crown. Sadly, an ACL tear caused him to miss the second half of his sophomore year, as well as a large chunk of 2022. Injuries are the only thing holding him back at this point. If he can stay healthy going forward, he will quickly reassert himself as one of the league's top pass rushers. 2011, Chris Long, 2008. He wasn't a star by any means, but the son of Hall of Famer Howie Long had a lengthy and fairly productive career. Long went to the Rams right after Miami took Jake Long, no relation, first overall. In 11 seasons, Chris recorded 70 sacks and 15 forced fumbles. Again, not elite level production, but good enough to avoid bust territory. Chris won his first Super Bowl ring with the New England Patriots in 2016. A year later, he won his second ring in as many years with the Philadelphia Eagles. Not a half-bad resume whatsoever. Number 10. Marcus Mariota, 2015. Tennessee took the 2014 Heisman Trophy winner right after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted Jameis Winston first overall. Now, neither QB was a full-on draft bust, but neither of them came relatively close to reaching expectations either. On one hand, Mariota helped Tennessee record 3 straight winning seasons from 2016 to 2018, highlighted by a playoff win over the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2017 wildcard round. But his stats were never elite, as he only reached 20 touchdown passes once. Mariota's inconsistent play through 6 weeks of the 2019 season prompted the Titans to replace him with Ryan Tannehill. That went on to be a franchise-changing move, and it was a career-changing move for Mariota, who now finds himself starting for the Falcons. Number 9. Carson Wentz, 2016. Wentz is such a tough one to rank. On one hand, he helped the Eagles enjoy 3 winning seasons and a trio of playoff appearances. Yes, Nick Foles completed the mission in the 2017-2018 postseason, but it was Wentz's MVP-like season before the ACL tear that set Philly up for success. Wentz's 5th year in Philly was so disastrous that it cost both him and Doug Peterson their jobs. Wentz was traded to the Colts in 2021, but lost his job after imploding in a Week 18 must-win game. Number 8. Saquon Barkley, 2018. Barkley started his career with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He missed almost all of 2020 and a chunk of 2021 with injuries, but Barkley regained his superstar form again in year 5 with the New York Giants. We have seen enough to place Barkley in the top 8. When he's healthy, and when given half-decent run-blocking support, he is a top 5 running back in the league, no questions asked. Number 7. Leonard Davis, 2001. The Arizona Cardinals were the ones who drafted the Texas offensive lineman, but Davis had his best years with the Dallas Cowboys. Davis joined America's team in 2007, the same year he earned his first of 3 straight Pro Bowl nods. Davis anchored a potent Dallas offensive line that helped power the team to NFC East Division crowns in 2007 and 2009. Number 6. LaVar Arrington, 2000. Arrington was a beast at linebacker for Washington from 2000 to 2005, earning 3 Pro Bowl nods and 2 second-team All-Pro selections. If only he stayed in DC just a little longer. Arrington left in 2006 to sign a lucrative contract with the division rival Giants. He was let go after one season and tragically had to retire after suffering serious injuries in a motorcycle accident. But his all-world play with Washington was enough to place him this high on our list. Number 5. Nick Bosa, 2019. Bosa is only entering his prime now, but trust us, we've seen more than enough to put him in the top 5. He is already one of the NFL's premier defensive players. When all is said and done, the 49ers star could even find himself with multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards and a gold jacket. Stay tuned. Number 4. Ndamukong Suh, 2010. Suh will probably fall short of the Hall of Fame, but he more than exceeded expectations. The hulking defensive tackle was vital in making the Lions relevant again over the next 5 years. The 5-time Pro Bowler and 2010's All-Decade team member played in 2 Super Bowls, one with the Los Angeles Rams and another with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Suh was key to the Bucs' Super Bowl 55 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, putting the cherry on top of a very solid all-around career. Number 3. Julius Peppers, 2002. The 9-time Pro Bowler will enter Canton in his first year of eligibility. Peppers was one of the game's most explosive game-ranking defensive players for well over a decade. His 159.5 sacks place him 5th all-time. The special thing about Peppers is he was a disruptor wherever he went. He led the Carolina Panthers to a Super Bowl 38 appearance and 2 NFC title games. He got the Bears to the conference title game in 2010, and he returned there with the Green Bay Packers in 2014 and 2015. Number 2. Calvin Johnson, 2015. It is too bad that injuries and a strained relationship with the Lions organization prompted Johnson to retire at the age of 30. The fact that he made it to Canton despite the early retirement just goes to show how great he truly was. Megatron put up all-world numbers despite lacking quality quarterback play for 4 years until Matthew Stafford finally got healthy and broke out in 2011. The 6-time Pro Bowler led the NFL in receiving for the 2011 and 2012 seasons. His 1,964 yards set in the latter year still stand as a single-season record. Johnson had the ideal combination of great hands, elite speed, physicality, world-class athleticism, and a high football IQ. He always found ways to beat double and even sometimes triple coverage. Stafford just threw it up there, and the Hall of Famer would find a way to make a play. Number 1. Von Miller, 2011. The 2011 NFL Draft is recognized as one of the absolute greatest of all time. Cam Newton and Von Miller set the tone early as one of the best 1-2 draft selection combos in NFL history. Miller, a proud member of the 100 Sack Club, turned a mediocre Denver Broncos franchise into an absolute juggernaut, leading them to 5 straight AFC West Division titles to open his career. Miller completely dominated the 2015-2016 postseason and led the Broncos to a Super Bowl 50 championship, where he earned big game MVP honors. The perennial All-Pro turned back the clock when he was traded to the Los Angeles Rams in 2021. He and Aaron Donald fueled the defense and led the Rams to a Super Bowl 56 championship, netting Miller ring number 2. But what changes would you make to our rankings? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. But hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.